Probably, yeah. Hey, how's everybody doing this morning?
Happy Hanukkah
Happy, yeah, all that stuff.
and Merry Christmas.
Merry Festivus.
What?
Festivus.
What does that mean?
You're not familiar with Festivus?
No.
It's a holiday for the rest of us.
I heard Happy Holidays on 88.3 yesterday, and
Did
I
you?
had a cow.
Yeah. Merry Christmas,
Merry
everybody.
Christmas.
That's the way we roll around here. Is that camera working? Yeah, that camera's working. Look at it. We got multiple camera here. Camera cam. Yeah, we'll go back to this one. It's a little bit better. No, that's a Seinfeld reference. It's from before you were born.
Yeah. No soup for you.
Yep. There you go. That's a good one. Way to go. No, George's father, Frank Costanza.
Which one's George? Is he
He's the short
the
bald
round
one.
one?
Yeah. They celebrate Festivus, and so they have a
Short bald, round one.
There's a Festivus pole, and with the traditional holiday airing of grievances, in which Frank says, "I got a lot of problems with you people, and you're going to hear about them." So, yeah, that's it. Of course, they were Jewish, so.
I had a friend text me yesterday who I didn't have their number,
Mm-hmm.
and his name is Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And so he said, this text said, "Hey Keaton, it's Jesus."
Right?
And so, of course, for a second there, I was like, this is how we're communicating now?
This is impressive.
Nice!
Yeah.
This is going to make things so much easier. And he said, I heard your prayer this morning. The answer is no,
Uh-huh.
but try again tomorrow.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So we'll see if I get
So
text
maybe it
again.
was later. Very good. Well, we're looking at Psalms, chapter 26, verse 5 today. Those who sow in tears shall reap with shouts of joy. What do you think about that?
Sow in tears.
Yeah. That means
Should reap.
we'll
reap with
we'll
shouts,
reap with
of,
shouts
joy.
of joy. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's a call to when things are tough, be sowing for those blessings later. Don't turn away from God. Stay in prayer and
Humble yourself.
humble yourself and keep taking care of business. Sometimes we tend not to do that, but work through the down times, the sad times, the dark times, and know that better days are coming, either here or in the next life. Right? Always have hope.
Yeah.
Always have
in
hope.
the next life, for sure.
For sure. Yeah.
But this one could always get better.
It could always get better, and probably will. That's what we have to keep in
Yeah.
mind. Speaking of things getting better, England is giving out their first doses of the vaccine
Nice.
outside the trial. And so,
Old lady last night.
yeah, and I've heard all kinds of things, and people are like, are you going to get the vaccine, not get the vaccine? You going to take the vaccine? I'll probably take the vaccine. I mean,
I already had it.
yeah, well,
the vaccine.
You had the natural occurring version of it, right?
No,
No?
I haven't got corona.
No?
You know what's funny?
What is
I
funny?
haven't changed my lifestyle since like all of March. I don't hardly wear a mask if I don't have to.
Mhm.
If I'm required to, I will.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't. I am around people that I'm, associate with all the time.
Right.
I literally have not changed my lifestyle, and I have never gotten a call. Hey, so you were with this person,
Mhm.
and never,
Yeah.
not once.
No, I haven't either.
You know
and-
why? Because Jesus loves me.
Well, there's potentially some truth to that. I will wear a mask anytime I think I should, even if it's not mandated. And so there are places
yeah.
where I'll put a mask on and I'll wear it.
At church, we're
Yeah.
not required to, but
You do
our
anyway.
pastor requested us to.
Yeah. Mhm.
Because he's like, if you have something going on, that you can't wear one, whatever, we're not going to ask about it.
Right.
But if you can, it would make everybody's life a little easier and comfortable. So I didn't before then, but then he asked us to.
Yeah,
and I
somebody
did.
asks.
And he backed it up with scripture.
Mhm.
If it doesn't interfere with the word of God, then we're to adhere to
Mhm.
our government,
Well, and
which is asking us to. So.
Yep. Yeah, and that's okay, and we can do that, and that's no
Mhm.
big deal.
Not
I
that
still
free.
think that this would have gone way better if our leaders had led and asked us to wear masks rather than jumping straight to we're going to require it. I just don't think that goes well. Telling Americans to do things doesn't go over well ever.
Yeah. Try to tell me something to do something, and I am probably not going to do it.
Well, I think that's where our country, our society makes a lot of mistakes all the time. Is we jump to a law or a court or a government or an order to solve a problem instead of hey, can't we as people just solve the problem on our own?
Mm-hmm.
And there's this huge middle ground of private citizens, private groups, private organizations that can all accomplish things way better than the government can, with less money, less confusion, less rancor. But
rather than forcing, educate us.
Yes, even incentivize. Incentivize. I mean, give out a grant to a community and say, we're going to give your police department $10,000, and we want them to go around and find people wearing masks, doing what they should do, and give them a $20 bill. Why not? Then hey, everybody's happy.
They're gonna have 8 masks on.
Yeah, everybody's happy. It's a win-win, and nobody's mad, and it just goes off a lot better. Sometimes people jump to the worst possible solution instead of thinking of creative opportunities that everybody would be happy with. Speaking of such things, Texas has sued Georgia, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin.
For the election results?
Yeah, and said they violated the U.S. Constitution in the way they changed the rules.
Oh.
So,
well,
the Constitution says...
They violated the Constitution, right?
Yeah, the Constitution, according to Texas, says the legislature sets the rules for how you determine who the presidential electors are. And in each of those 4 states, either by executive order through the Secretary of State's office or through judicial order through their court system, they changed the process by which electors were selected, or under the Bush or Gore versus Bush decision, or Bush versus Gore, I can't remember which one it is, styled in Florida, it said that the state has to treat every ballot in the state the same way. They can be treated differently between states, but the state has to treat all the ballots in their state the same way. And the Texas suit alleges that in some counties in certain of those states, they dealt with the signature verification differently from county to county and precinct to precinct, and that violates the equal protection clauses interpreted by that Bush versus Gore decision. So that's what the Supreme Court and now like 10 other states have signed on to, including, I understand, Missouri. So Missouri, Kentucky, a lot of other states have now joined in that suit.
Mike.
Which actually places original jurisdiction within the Supreme Court. Normally you file a case in a trial court, like a local county or U.S. Circuit Court, and it goes to the Court of Appeals and then maybe gets to the Supreme Court. But this type of case actually has original jurisdiction straight to the Supreme Court, which is interesting because they normally don't hear evidence, and they won't have to in this case because it's purely a matter of law.
When is Amy?
She's already sitting. She's already rendered some decisions. She's already voted, so she's already to work.
Amy, so that one's kind of a swing.
ACB. Well, even
it's
Roberts
kind of
apparently
close to AOC.
It is, but it's ACB.
Much better.
Yeah. So no, actually, it was 6-3. I understood to accept the case, which means Roberts voted to accept it. Which, he's been a little shaky recently on his decisions, going some interesting ways.
I was watching some videos last night of Joe Biden from like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He was more competent and...
So you were tracing the decline?
Right in his head.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a bad guy. I think that he's a puppet.
I think he's now a puppet. I think he used to be a bad guy.
I think so.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think you look at, the stuff he's done, stuff he's said, there's been some... Of course, we're all bad guys, so, yeah. There are pigeons out in the yard. Aren't those pigeons?
Sure.
They look like pigeons.
Think we could eat them?
Oh, yeah, you can eat them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And there's like 8 pigeons.
We need to go open up your undercover swing boxes.
From Sportsland right here in Rogersville, one of our sponsors on the show. Yeah, we've got some good stuff in those swing cases out there. We could take care of those pigeons, couldn't we?
Just throw the bullets at them?
Well, that's not my recommended
that how it
method.
works?
That's not the preferred method of using ammo, but it could work. I'd probably use a shotgun on pigeons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If it was up to me. But yeah, they're pecking away out there. Outside the studio, we got pigeons right here in Jamestown. Outside the Resource Center studio.
AOC's not intelligent. I fell into some videos about her last night also.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
I hate to make that judgment, but I know. Poor girl.
Yeah, I know. Bless her heart.
Bless her heart.
It's like the most backhanded thing.
It's very southern.
Bless your heart.
Bless her heart. Bless your heart.
I saw some of that.
Aren't you sweet?
Yesterday about the James River stuff, and people, bless your heart.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? How all that stuff goes down. So Bill Gates says they have cracked a code sort of on this whole electric battery thing. That they've now got a
Really?
battery that can charge like for cars.
He has?
Well, Microsoft.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's too busy solving the pandemic problem. Now
Because he's an expert.
because he's created a vaccine. Good thing Al Gore invented the internet for him, or we'd have all kinds of problems. No, but this battery for a car, an electric car, will charge to 80% in about 15 minutes and has a much longer range.
Wow.
Really, really powerful. The interesting thing about this is everybody gets excited about these electric cars and saving the planet, but they're made with all kinds of materials that wreck the environment.
The batteries.
If you're into that stuff. The stuff you have to mine
Those mines look rough.
to create those batteries is insane. And then they're all charged with fossil fuels. I mean, it's all, we have some hydro.
Where does the electricity come
Where
from?
does electricity come from? A coal plant. That comes from a coal plant or an oil facility. So, and there is some hydro in the United States. There's a lot of it. There's a little bit of solar, a little bit of wind. But again, like to build one of those wind turbines, you have to use more energy to create the turbine than that turbine will produce in its lifetime.
I looked at something, and I could get all the numbers wrong, but there was a section in California, uninhabited, just like a desert kind of area.
So the good part.
Yeah, the good part. And Elon Musk said, if we just cover this little section with solar panels, we can power the entire United States.
Well, I'm surprised he didn't do it.
Well, I'm like, why is the government not like hopping on board with that?
Well, there's a lot of politics involved, I don't know.
Same with Australia. There's a little highlight portion like cover this all. It's got covered.
He's probably talking about Death Valley.
Yeah.
I mean, I would assume Death Valley would be the place, that you could do something like that in. And the last thing for today, we talked about Microsoft. Let's talk about Apple. Have you seen their new release, the AirPod Max?
No.
$549 for AirPod Max.
Wow.
They're first AirPods that go over your ear. So they've got memory foam built in to create the seal.
So it's like a circle?
Yeah, it's like the Beats. The Beats that Apple...
But it goes on each ear? Or does it have a thing that
It's got a thing that goes over.
Okay.
It's got a headband. It's a stainless steel headband with mesh up top. But yeah, they're the first over-the-ear AirPods from Apple. Of course, they're meant for audiophiles. I will not buy those.
Noise canceling?
Oh yeah, noise canceling, transparent mode, just like the AirPod Max.
What is transparent mode?
Transparency mode actually is really cool. I've got those on my AirPods Pros, I guess. You actually set them in a mode, and the external speaker microphones in them that it uses to pick up and cancel noise. It uses them then also to pick up what it perceives to be like speaking and then amplify them. So I can actually put them in sometimes and hear
like
better.
when you have some ear pros on for shooting. You have the electronic ones you can hear.
Yeah, except you don't want to use
stuff.
AirPods for shooting because they don't have that.
Yeah.
The shooting protection ones,
Yes.
they pick up on the loud noises and clamp it down.
But like that.
yeah.
Grab sound. And,
Yeah, where they enhance it. So you could actually be listening to music.
Do not use your AirPods for shooting.
For hearing protection.
Yeah.
For shooting. No, they're not made for that.
This was not brought to you by any sort of... No.
But we will tell you, your AirPods are not hearing protection for shooting. But the transparency mode is really cool. You can be listening to music and somebody comes up and talks to you, you can hear them. Even over your music. It amplifies it right over the music. So it's pretty cool.
And there's some bone conductive headphones that sit right here. They don't actually go in the ear, so they're for running and stuff. So you're on the road and you can hear your music still. You can't hear the music if I'm just sitting here, but then also you hear everything around you and all that kind of stuff.
Do you have some?
Huh?
Yeah, you like them?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
3 years, but they come out with all the new models and everything.
Yep.
I used to be a really up and up on the techie stuff.
Yep.
I don't have time anymore.
I'm kind of in the same boat. I used to know all of it. I know more than most people now. Usually people still come to me and ask me questions about that stuff. But
well, it was like when I was in high school. Like you had your...
Yesterday?
Yeah. Yesterday when I got out of high school. Is the new iPhone or the new this or that, people would get it.
Right.
So you know about it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anymore. I don't talk to people.
Yep. Well, and I think I think people don't upgrade their devices every year like they used to. I mean, some people still do.
Yeah, it used to be like a big wave. Like everybody got a new one,
But I'll skip a year or two here or there,
Mm-hmm.
And skip models now because it's just the increase in what you get is insignificant. A lot of times, it's just not that big a deal.
I went from the 7 to 11 this time.
Did you?
Yeah,
I think
it was limping, but
I think that's what I did. I went from 7 to 11. And the only reason I switched was because my 7 I left on the top of the car and it wound up smashed on Schoolcraft Freeway somewhere around between Kearney and
I
Division.
have a bad habit of
Yeah.
I have stuff in my hand, so I set my
Yeah.
phone on the hood,
Yeah.
and I drove 8 miles on the way home one time. I'm just driving and I go because I see it on the hood. I was like, slowing down, like no,
Yeah.
it was fine.
Yeah. I hate when that happens, but
Yeah, I hate when I leave my phone on the hood of my car and I drive home, and it's a really first world problem, isn't that?
yeah, it really is. That's one of the reasons I have a phone mount in my truck.
Yeah.
Is because it's right in front of me and I'll notice it. Oh, the phone's not there, and then I know I have
I'll
something.
get in somebody else's car and I'll grab my phone and I
know
go.
I have something I have to deal with.
I'm into thin air. I try to hook it onto the thing. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Or driving and try to grab. I was like, oh,
It's not
nothing there.
Yeah. Or you go, hey Siri, and she doesn't answer.
She's like, shut up.
Shut up. I don't want to hear from you.
I'm sleeping. So talk to her.
Oh man, we're gonna do this again tomorrow?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll be back tomorrow, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Happy
fun.
Hanukkah
And Merry Christmas.
and Merry Christmas and a good night.